wedge of God pattern in Bitcoin. Let's jump into the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Of course, this isn't trading advice, this is just market observation. You can pause the video to read through the full disclaimer there. Let me jump into the main scene here, and I'll start off without a long teaser saying at the end of the video I'll show you this great chart. Let's dig into it now. It was a chart that was shared in our Discord group yesterday, and I went, wow, I never look at that chart. It's the 1 month chart. And when I was looking at this initially, I thought, whoa, geez, those are a lot of exhaustion wicks. That's really not what I'm wanting to see when I see this long chart. And then I started studying it closer, going back to a time where I made a really big mistake. I was a real a bag holder, an altcoin bag holder as Bitcoin was going up and alts were going down. And I anxiously held them with great muscle tension and didn't make as much money as I should have because I should have been holding Bitcoin. And so I don't want to make that mistake again, and I'm studying diligently, especially at these turning points. And so what I did with the chart is I put it in log view, and then I looked at this moving average. Let's just look at the green line and ignore the 60 period moving average. This is the 20 period exponential moving average. And I wanted to know when's the last, what did it do last time it crossed above this way? What did it do last time it crossed above this 20 period moving average and consolidated? Of course, we already know the answer to that. It went up for a good long time out of that break. So considering that we may be in the same formation as we were then, this is an ascending wedge pattern that really built up for quite a while here. And this monthly chart, I don't think it really shows it as well as a closer time frame chart, how this built up into a wicked ascending wedge triangle. Let me see if I can get it in the weekly view and drag it all the way back so that we can see how this ascending wedge built up twice. We have this massive ascending wedge built up here, and then we had the massive ascending wedge built up here. Both of these times were really important to pay attention to get out of alts and get into Bitcoin. And of course, that's not my story. From this point here, I held my alts all the way until March of 2017. And fortunately, I sold a whole bunch of them in July 2017, but I still held my alts all the way through this crushing period as alts went down against Bitcoin up until December. And then I did good with my alts through January and December of 2017. So through those periods, really, looking back, we can it's obvious, we can see what was going on with Bitcoin and the alts during those times. We can look over at Bitcoin dominance and we can get a longer term picture of this and go back and really learn from those circumstances where Bitcoin dominance was dropping, and Bitcoin was rising and rising through those times. Bitcoin dominance is dropping and dropping. How far is it going to drop? Well, with the world craziness around Bitcoin, I'm thinking it's going to be going back to these levels and Bitcoin's going to moon again. And the purpose of this stream is to get some of that longer term perspective now and then zoom in to today's prices to see what's actually going on. So now I'm going to put my chart back to normal, where I have the underlay of Bitcoin. And the underlay of Bitcoin is always good when we're looking at any of the altcoin prices so that you can see what's happening and when. And this is a big one right here that alts took a smack right as Bitcoin did this move up, just as they took the smack back here and back here. Every time Bitcoin's done this, alts have moved back. So I'm paying attention to these formations now and anticipating that if Bitcoin does a big run up, we're going to see a massive squish in the alts. They're going to go 40% down from where they are. And then they're going to blast off like crazy because they really are part of the next world's economy. All right, now let me stop and say hello in the chat. So we've got TV here. Good to see you. So at the end, we'll go through BQX, AGI, NEX, and I haven't seen NEX, I don't think, and Lend. And with the filter that my bias is that they're all going to dump really hard in the next little while. And the purpose of the live stream is for your benefit, so you can learn from whatever I'm doing here. If it helps you, I'm honored, I'm flattered. It's great that I can pass along what I've learned from others and help you with it. But the other part of the live stream is for my future self, so that I can come back and watch this stream in the future and not make the same mistakes I've made in the past. So recently I started watching some of my older videos, and I was like definitely in bag holder mode. I was absolutely in denial mode, and I'm going to draw the chart back here to September of 2017, right in this period right here. We had had the big pullback. Everything was looking like a wicked top formation in Bitcoin right here. It looked phenomenal. I made a video saying that Bitcoin is topping out. This is it. We are coming back. The alts are in a huge bottom formation. They are absolutely going to be blasting off from here. And this is absolutely not what happened. So what was the difference between everything then that I didn't see that I am now seeing in the charts, supposedly, and what I'm tracking out of this formation here? Let's jump into the indicators now and go through the routine so that we have a standard to review it against. So what we're watching for now, and we've been watching for a while, is to have a similar relative strength index trend that we saw in the past. That's going to give us the start. So this must be our trend. It has to be if we're going to see something like that. And the weekly candle hasn't closed yet. So we'll see what ends up in the next couple days with this candle and see where it ends up. Let's zoom into the 1-day view and see what's going on, because we've been watching for this to break. It broke both ways, which was really a difficult trading day for sure. Now the question is, what's it doing across these levels as we are in this phase? So the daily isn't important really unless we break this trend line. Let's zoom in to the 12-hour time frame. So what I'm wanting to see now is a break of this trend line here, and we did get a bit of it. So I zoom in on this. This is the trend line we've been watching. To see a break of it to the positive would be bullish, and it's sort of just gone sideways from there. And we zoom in. This is a bit sideways. Let me clear this off. Let me know, by the way, if the mic sound is good. I've been adjusting it and trying to make some changes with it. Commander, hey, good to have you along the live stream. Just chatting on our Discord chat about gold-backed currencies. And I think it's a good idea to be buying gold in addition to your cryptocurrencies. Just head down to your local coin shop and buy junk silver. That is silver made from coins back when they used silver in coins. And it's not pure silver, it's junk silver. Okay, now I love this right now as we're watching to see this RSI starting to flare up. Looking good. All right, now the volume on the weekly view. Volume on the daily view. We can see that there has been this spike up of volume. A nice change from what we were seeing before. And the spike of volume must continue now. We could go sideways for a long time if we're following something in the past. When we get further in the video, I'm going to do the Bollinger Bands. I'm going to pull us back to historical prices where I haven't seen the Bollinger Bands do what they're doing right now, except for some of the bullish territory in the past. This is negative to me until we get into these closer time frames. And let me zoom in on this. Then I'm starting to see the buying coming in. So we're seeing this divergence right across this important time frame, setting up right at the front edge of this triangle. Let's zoom in. We're on the 1-hour time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, buying, it was looking pretty good here last night. In our Discord chat, we were joking about this 1-minute trend line and how this was, the 1-minute trend line to the moon. And right at the very top here, it was looking insanely bullish. It was looking so crazy because of all of this volume and everything going on, and then just sort of petered out there. Now on the 1-week view of the MACD, it's looking good. We'll take a look at that in a couple days. This is looking pretty good, except I don't like the slowing down here right at the tip. So to have these histograms pulling back this way isn't ideal for the bulls. Let's zoom in closer time frames. The 12-hour has crossed to the negative, and this was concerning yesterday as well as this crossed over. But yeah, I appreciate the feedback on the sound, that the mic sounds good for some, and for some people the sound's slightly better. It's like cranked up here, and that's about all I can do without making it overmodulate. So I'm glad that it's working enough. See there, if I bring up my voice, it's overmodulating. All right, back to the episode. This is an important cross for me. That it's just crossed and everything else, and like the 12-hour is still negative, is sketchy. It's definitely sketchy. And I'll be watching for this to uncross, and let's go into the closer time frames. It gets less clear here the more it goes sideways on the closer time frames, and it'll be the same for the closer time frames and the closer time frames again. The only thing is that this just gets you freaked out both ways, because every time it crosses positive, oh my god, every time it crosses negative, oh my dear, and you're just going crazy on this. So the smaller trades, step back from it. Just got to step back from it for right now. Now, when I was looking at the Ichimoku cloud this morning as I was preparing for the stream, I started looking back here to see what happened when the blue crossed below the red. The red was expanding away from the blue, and it was bad news for the bulls. And so now we have the blue below the red, and the red is expanding away from the blue. Another time that the red crossed the blue, this is different. This is with the red rising, and the blue has to come up and cross above the red now. Red is rising, but blue's got to cross above the red if we're going to see that long-term moon right from here. Now, when I zoom into the one-day view, this starts to get more interesting. Same as, was this yesterday this first started? I think so. I remember that hair split and that the trailing indicator is cut through everything. We don't have a twist to the positive, and we haven't poked up above this, but those will all be confirming on the Ichimoku daytime chart. When's the last time we went up through the cloud on the red cloud like this? This is going to make sense later in the episode when I pull this back and I pull this back and I pull this back and I see when's the last time we actually went through a red cloud in the daily. Right here, what is the date? 2016. Bag holding days for me for sure. And this is one of the ascending wedge triangles. An ascending wedge triangle that you should never miss. You should never miss this. And I missed it. I was in denial. As this broke out from here, I was holding my altcoin bags. And I didn't want to do anything on a strong breakout because it's not my trading signal. And then afterwards I'm going, yeah, it's a good thing I didn't do anything on strong. You know, so I really want to pay attention to these ascending wedge triangles as they're building out right now. So any of the formation that we have that is similar with the 4-hour Bollinger Bands after we're crossing through the Ichimoku cloud is crazy. It's crazy when we're looking at that long-term ascending wedge pattern from God. It really means that if we are in that monthly long-term logarithmic ascending wedge channel, then we are going to see the point of inflection, not just the parabolic move. We're going to see the point of inflection, which is a straight up move, and then it's finished by an anti-parabola. So this will be 20,000. This will be 120,000 or something like that, 200,000. It'll go through a range that can't be predicted, and I don't think anybody wants to predict something like this. Everybody wants to be right, and that's just crazy. So now let's continue on with the Ichimoku cloud. One daytime, really exciting to me. I need to leave, sorry. I'll watch my rugby game now. Enjoy. SA versus ENG. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, I'm in run. Are you? Ooh. Good morning, Doug and everybody. Good to have you along, Carl. I think you may have seen that video I posted in our Discord chat for the patron subscribers. It's a special video that is a replay from September of 2017. And I like it because I was blind at the time, and you can go through the charts and you can see it. You can see how blind I was at the time. So this is why I'm doing this now, to clarify for my own part what's going on here, and I hope it works. So here in the Ichimoku cloud, now we've got it bouncing up off the cloud. The blue has to cross above the red while this is breaking out for this to be a buy signal in the uptrend in the Ichimoku cloud. So if we get a buy signal in the uptrend on the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, and we are crossing through the 1-day cloud, there's the 4-hour, and we're crossing through the 1-day cloud. We've already crossed through the 12-hour cloud. We are up above it. It is a clear buy signal here. So the 4 hours looking like a buy signal in the uptrend. The 1 day is almost poking through, and the 12 hours already confirmed. But what about the closer time frames? The 1 hour has also confirmed out of this little bit of a triangle. We're up above, we have the twist to the positive, the trailing indicator has cut through almost everything, not quite through the cloud yet. So again, when this breaks above these levels, we have confirmation like crazy. That is awesome. Now the Bollinger Bands, I'm going to do the weekly view. I'll zoom in on this, and then I'm going to pull the time frame back. And it's coincidental? No, it's going to be amazing to see how it matches up. The question I have about this is, where are we compared to the midline on the 1 day and the 12-hour time frame? Because we're above the midline, and the last time, of course, we were above the midline for a good long time. It was the big uptrend. And as I'm studying the Bollinger Bands now, let me clear this off. I want to zoom in. I'm really paying attention to the difference between the 12-hour and the 4-hour bands. And I'm trying to correlate that with the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. So when we have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up, this was a really important one. All of our indicators were screaming buy on this. As this consolidation came up, we had diversion. We had all sorts of great signals there in the RSI, the MACD indicator, the on-balance volume were all standing up for us. It was really good. And so now that I'm studying the Bollinger Bands, I'm looking at these points in time, and then I'm trying to correlate it by going into the 4-hour time frame. Whoops. And look back at that moment to see, okay, I see on the 12-hour it was back to the band, and the 4-hour was at the band. As it crossed the midline, it was correlating with the rest of my signals. And so now I want to look at the current time and see what's going on with the 12-hour band. Here we are, we're not touching the bottom of the band at all. And when I move into the 4-hour time frame, it's at the bottom of the 4-hour band, and it could be a place to be purchasing in. With this major squeeze, it's going to be a quick and hard move. So I really want to observe this stuff and study it right now. If this breaks out, then we're confirming the Ichimoku cloud. We're confirming the crossover on the 4-hour MACD, and we're confirming the change in the RSI on that time frame if this spikes higher. So I want to have all those confirmations, of course, but it's made me biased, so I really want to study both sides. And so if I'm getting this wrong and you're seeing this as a short and there's something obvious that I'm missing here, I want your input. I want your comments below the video. I want your cup of cold water across the face. So the 12-hour, now let me go back to the beginning because I'm not starting off with what I'm seeking. What I'm seeking here in the 12-hour is a time that we are in a wide band, that we are above the midline. And of course, I start trailing backwards to see where is there a wide band that we're above the midline. Well, that didn't work out for the bulls. There's a wider band that we're above the midline. It didn't work out for the bulls. This didn't work out for the bulls. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? If this is an uptrend, why am I looking through other areas? Why don't I just go back to the uptrend in the chart and look for those patterns in there? So what we're looking for is that wide band. We're looking for that wide band, and the time that it consolidated above the band and kept going up, or consolidated above the band and kept going down. So what happened in the 4-hour at this time? What happened in the 4-hour at this time? Is it touched the band and then continued up? What's the date that we have here? 2017. And so there are a number of times where the 12-hour consolidated above the band. And so I went back and I marked them in to see the 12-hour above the band, and then what happened here. And it gets difficult. I wonder if the log view will give me a better view. So then the study is to go into the 4-hour time frames right at these same moments to see what was going on in the 4-hour and correlate if we are seeing something that is going to be to our favor. So I'm looking for the big pullback. You know, this is pretty much it right in here. The wider band pulled back and then continued on. So we should see a similar pattern in the 4-hour right in here. And so I got to mark the date, otherwise I never find it, and then go to the 4-hour time frame and pull this back. So here we do have instances where the 4-hour is coming back, but the 4-hour is only this point coming back to the bottom of the band at this same time. I'm going to go through this more carefully, and I'm going to take some screenshots through this and post them in our Discord chat, because going back and forth in the charts like this for a study in the live stream it's more tedious. It needs to be done more carefully than this. Now, on some streams the sound is crystal clear. Some it sounds like your mic is at some sounds like your mic is at the other end of the room and you're speaking. Just a heads up, maybe something changed without noticing. Well, I got a wicked mic here, so it may be the way I'm setting it up here. So if I change the setting like this, get wrecked, is this better? Because there are a number of settings. It's a wicked mic. Where are we? Okay, here's Bitcoin dominance. Commander, hey, thanks for the subscribe. I appreciate it. Blink, blink, blink. Let's jump in to Bitcoin price, Ethereum price, Litecoin price, and Ripple price. So I like to have these 4 charts up so that I can see when Bitcoin's moving, what are the other alts doing? This gives me a general idea of Bitcoin dominance. And we can see these are all making really good consolidation patterns. They look super inviting. And because of what I learned about going through in September of 2017, and my belief that Bitcoin is about to just do a parabolic move up, I think even though the alts are looking good, I'm quite trepidatious on them. And you can get access to this patron bull market watch spreadsheet by going to intro-to-cryptos.ca and sign up at the bottom of the page. If you are new to the channel, I recommend that you scroll all the way to the bottom. I'll show you the bull market watch in a second here. Scroll all the way to the bottom and grab yourself this free webinar that explains this full trading system. It's great training. It teaches you the 5 stages of a trade in addition to the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And then while you're watching the live stream, you can get some additional insights that are not provided in the free webinar in using their indicators along with that trading pattern. And if you want to have the bull market watch color-coded spreadsheet so that you can see everything that we're doing on Binance and Poloniex, we give you trading signals for everything on Binance and Poloniex for $15 a month. Nowhere else out there like it. If you want to go into the pro alerts, which are much more specific, then that's $67 a month for 3 months. And if you use the coupon code MINNOW when checking out, you will save 20% off of those memberships. Nothing like it out there. Here on the bull market watch, we can see this is the most important chart right now. We have come from 11 alert coins, 11 alerts and holds, and now we're up to 28, now we're up to 36, now we're up to 46 alert and hold coins on Binance. And I want to pay attention to that, because if these alerts are going up, there's 24 yesterday, and now there are 31 today. And if tomorrow there are 40 or something, then I really want to pay attention to the alts. And I want to keep my eye glued on a shorter time frame of Bitcoin dominance here, so that I can be watching. If this is a top formation and we're having a 1, 2, 3 top formation in Bitcoin dominance, then dominance will drop even if Bitcoin is rising. If dominance is dropping and Bitcoin is rising, the alts are going to go to the moon. And this is really what I'm actually watching for, and watching and watching and watching for. So even though I'm saying I think Bitcoin's going to go up and the alts are going to get crushed, it's sort of a preparation just in case, because I don't want to be the bag holder this time. I've been scaling out of my alts for the last little while because we've had this going on. I wish I could draw on this, but you can see this downtrend line of the green and the uptrend line of the red. This is getting out of all of the alert and hold status coins. This green line going down is getting out of all of the alert and hold status coins. So the charts have been preparing us for Bitcoin taking off. We've already scaled out of most all of the alts. And now the big scan is to watch them every day to see when to scale back into them so that we're not missing out on things. But if Bitcoin is taking off here, this is the liquidation watch page. If Bitcoin is taking off here, I will be posting the liquidations as they occur over in our Discord chat. I'll take a screenshot of this little liquidation thing as it flows along. I'm always keen to watch for the $10 million liquidations. That is somebody who's done $1 million at a 10 times leverage trade, or $100,000 at 100 times leverage trade, and market went against them and they got liquidated. And you always think that people with more money would have taken the time to become more educated about the risks they are taking. It's like a rich person with an airplane. They don't need to take airplane flying lessons. They're rich, right? Why do they need to take that stuff? They could just fly because they're rich. And you know what happens. You have to actually build the skills with little bits of money, and then it becomes easier with bigger bits of money. It's just all percentages and it doesn't make any difference. But it's the same skill. And so if you're getting liquidated with $5 trades or you're getting liquidated with $100,000 trades, it's the same mistake. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, if you're flying the plane wrong and you hit the ground, you're probably going to die. And it'll be the same thing with your equity, your money in trading, if you don't know the risk control rules, if you don't have a steady plan to follow. And so if you've been liquidated, come and take my course. Sign up over on the website. Grab that $15 trading. It's got to be less expensive than your liquidation. Lots more fun too. So here we go. I think we're taking off, and we'll watch this through the day over on our Discord chat. Let me go back to the YouTube chat. I buried it here. So we're all doing good. I think we're taking off from here. The ascending wedge pattern from God says that it's definitely time to be paying attention to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance making the pattern it is, and the way that we've eased off in all of the alts says that Bitcoin is going to be the one to hold for right now. And over time, we'll continue to do the scans on our studies every single day here, so that we keep up on the color-coded, by date, hand reviewed across all of these coins, so that when we come out of this red phase and we're starting to come back into the buying phase, we are going to have the advance notice. Not just that the market is moving, but which ones in the market. We don't want to be getting into the ones that are not moving, only into those that are moving and when they're moving. So that's phenomenal stuff. Hope to see more of you joining up, and see you on the inside over on the Digital Currency Traders or Intro to Crypto's website. In the meantime, I'm going to head off and have some breakfast, and then I'll be back in our Discord chat to follow along with this as it's going, so that if it's passing these indicators, we'll do screenshots. We'll continue to collect all of the details for these case studies on how all of these trading indicators work together for making money. Doom. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I appreciate having you here, and thanks again for subscribing, Commander77. I will see you on the next episode. Cheers. back by popular demand, back by the applause from the audience asking for more. I'm just kidding. Let's go in now. I want to look at BQX, AGI. AGI is closer in the alphabet. Let's do it first. This is what is the rest of the day for me now. I'm going to be going through the spreadsheets, and I go through the color-coded spreadsheet first so I can quickly look at this and I go, it is near fail. I grade this as a near fail coin. And let me grab the ranges. This would be near fail status. Anything down in this range, I mark it as nearly failing. Anything in this range would be a neutral coin. Maybe, I guess it would have to be in this range now. They're all getting super tight. Anything in this range would be marked as an alert status coin. Anything in this range would be marked as a hold status coin. So because it's in a near fail status, I'm almost getting rid of all of my stuff. But of course, if I'm following my own trading plan, I'm not holding this at all because it didn't cross the moving averages. So if I scroll back on this, it crossed the 12-hour exponential moving average back here. And when I look at my video from September of 2017 and I'm looking at the alts and I'm thinking, oh, we're coming into a bottom formation, Bitcoin is consolidating, it's making a top, it's going to come down, look at this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The exponential moving averages were still not crossed to the positive as I was making my video, and I was anticipating that the alts were going to be bouncing up. So I can look back in hindsight and say, well, duh, there's your own trading rule that I was not paying attention to. So here again, according to my own trading rule, anyway, there's nothing I can be doing in this market because it's down to these levels. In fact, if you're bag holding on this stuff, it's freaky, because in September 2017 there were some moves that went like this and down till December, and there was like 8 or 10 markets that did this while everything else just did a little loop down, and this was just before Bitcoin went up 400% and the alts just got crushed. You've got the same amount of money. This is what I taught myself. I have $100 in AGI. If I sell it now, I have $100 worth of Bitcoin. I try not to think of, oh, I had $400 worth of it and now it's worth 100. I want it to go back up before I sell out. No, I have $100 of it, which is better from here, which is better from which is better from here, which is better from here every minute, which is better from here. So I do these videos so that I can see the longer term, which is better from this moment. Even though it was doubtful through this little bit in April, that first 2 weeks of April, I was still in denial. I was still thinking that the alts were going to just do a springboard effect as Bitcoin was taking off, because the alts are wonderful, they are great technology, we're coming up out of this bottom for it. So all of those analysis and all of those rationalizations are important to study in your own trading. You must analyze the analysis. No, you must analyze the analyst. And so with AGI, not feeling good about it. Let's go down the alphabet now. BQX, BQX. Again, it's below the exponential moving averages still. It is in a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We did have this pre-pump candle. Is it a pre-pump candle or is it an exhaustion candle? So for me, these are lessons learned of letting go, and right here at this moment is the most important one probably, because it's obvious I'm wrong. In hindsight, it's always obvious, and that's why we go back and do trading journals so that you can study your own trading. And I don't have it open right now. Let me go get it. The crypto alerts and trade package for the pros comes with future analysis of all of these trading systems. And so we have a logged file of every alert, and we can go back and check them all out over time to see which was better. The simple trading plan, the springboard, the 1, 2, 3 and the 4-hour time frame. Are there other trading entries and exits that over time were better? This kind of analysis is really key. So for me, the analysis of going back to this time and saying, okay, I'm wrong. I have $100 worth of the coin, or I have $100 worth of Bitcoin. which one just crossed the moving average, which one is making the volume pattern, which one. Then I just take my $100. I don't care if it used to be 200. Okay. I have to get used to and comfortable with being wrong and not feel bad about it. In fact, to expect it. And once you're expecting to be wrong, you don't stay wrong as long. So for me, breaks below these levels are not good. As Bitcoin is moving up off of this level, I think this is going to take a big hammering down. And I'm not fooling when I think it's going to hit 250 Satoshi. And I have no way to prove it, right? There's no chart pattern in the past. It's just by looking at what happened in September of 2017 that alts got hammered way harder than I thought they were going to as Bitcoin went up. And Bitcoin went up 400% from September to December out of a similar pattern to what we're doing here right now. Minimize this. Back to AGI BQX. Just while we're along the way, another trend line. Lend. Didn't Lend do a big move up? And now has a top formation and crossing the exponential moving averages. If there is a place to get out, let's zoom back. That's the 1 hour view. Okay, the 12-hour would keep me in. Assuming that I got in at a really good time. So let's go and take a look at Lend. Now, would this spreadsheet be helpful for you? I know it's super helpful for me. I use this all the time. So here, Lend gave us a little bit of juice in August and told us to get out. Perfect. I don't know if it was a little bit of a profit or a little bit of a loss, but we got in on the 12-hour EMA cross and out on the 4-hour EMA cross. So whatever, if it's a small trade, it's okay. But here again, we found it. We nailed it. We got in September 17th on this trade. Where'd it go? So September the 17th, nailed it. What would this have done for your trading to have just known when to hold this and to watch when to sell it? So now, as we're scrolling down, we're still seeing it's one of the last in the hold status, but everything else has been kicking out. And we'll be watching for when to get back in on these, but the thing that we're watching for on this is the 4-hour time frame cross. And of course, if this 4-hour EMA crosses while we're breaking out of this top formation and Bitcoin is going higher, it's pretty obvious to be getting out of your Lend coin now, take that profit with glee, with gratitude, with great gratitude for the market, and put it into Bitcoin. This top formation is speaking to us. It's a 1, 2, 3 top formation. The exponential moving average is crossing over. I hope you guys are seeing this stuff. When you see the chart, you're starting to actually speak this language. I should be able to teach it to you. You can teach it to Tom. Tom and I will go out for dinner and he will tell me the trading plan and it'll be identical. All three of us should look at the chart and come up with the very same analysis, the same analysis. When this tops and it crosses over, there's no Fibonacci's here. There's no trend lines. The exponential moving averages are the only variable that you could change to a different number. I'm a bit of an evangelist on it. Next we have NEX. NEX. Let me go to find it. NEX. Hit BTC. Hubi. I don't know NEX. Is this it? Nexio? Certainly got some pumping action going there. It'd be something I want to buy, whatever the coin this is, if I'm going to buy it, and leave my sell orders, already above the market. And that's it. I'm done trading that. So I don't know if that's the coin you were looking for or not. Oh, this is a different exchange. So if this is the coin, Of course, the 4-hour EMA has already crossed, and it's a beautiful cross, actually. Really nice uptrend line. The 4-hour EMA crosses. You may not have been able to get out of this until here. When you log in, you go, oh, wow, what a retrace. Okay, the 4-hour EMA crossed. I just get out. Or at least reduce your position to half or less. Then the 12-hour EMA crosses. You say, okay, I'm out. I'll reevaluate this market when it starts to behave. Now it's turned itself into a sideways chopping market, and I have to use a different trading plan, actually. So this may be when the 4-hour Bollinger Bands may be giving you a better re-entry point, because the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation now will require this makes a 1, 2, 3 in this range, and that the 4-hour EMA crosses back to the positive in order to get back into this market. There's nothing that can be done until those things set up for this trading plan. So until the 4-hour EMA crosses back to the positive on this market, it's stand aside, especially with the dominance doing what it's doing, especially with the potential for Bitcoin to be taking off. It woke us up with too much volume to be ignored. That move back last Friday is too significant with the volume that came along with it for us to ignore it. Especially when we saw, and we've already been taught the lesson here. So it could be sideways chop for a while. It could be an entire month of sideways. It may not be till Christmas that we're starting to go up. And it was December 14th last year that we had the top, or the 7th right here. That was the top. December 14th. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if there's any other requests. Let me go back. SA versus ENG. I don't know what SA is, but I do know ENG. So I can filter by Bitcoin, get rid of my favorites, scroll down to the E's, maybe see ENG. You're already telling the same story as I'm telling. We see the 1-day exponential moving average cross. So this was a fake out breakout, and part of the training in the course is what to do to deal with these fake out breakouts, how to get prepared in advance so that you have a strategy to stop yourself from being a bag holder from these kind of situations. They are perfect. They look phenomenal, but it's just a consolidation in the downtrend. And when we see this breakout and then time it with what Bitcoin did right afterwards, everything got slammed down. Now Bitcoin has done it again here, but the most important thing is the slam. Look at the size of the slam here. If I see the slam compared to this slam, it's very small. This is one of the reasons I'm watching so closely right now, is that the alts are reacting much less than they did before. And it may be that they are ready to turn around and Bitcoin dominance drop as Bitcoin's rising and the alts are all rising. We'll definitely be watching for that. And if these come out of this double bottom, clear this off, double bottom, 1, 2, 3 bottom, I love it. 1, 2, 3 bottom, I love it. Now we have head and shoulders, inverse double shoulder. I don't know, it's an inverse double bottom with 2 1, 2, 3s supporting it. So then when it starts to actually change this direction and come up out of this, and it's not submerged anymore, it's really telling us that the market has changed. And we should see that everywhere, all at the same time as this is happening. So for now, it's not a hold, it's not even a buy signal, it's still a near fail, it's nearly failing to new lows. And because I am expecting Bitcoin to give us strength, this is still at 3,100 Satoshi. It's got lots of Satoshi below it for a bigger spike down. Just because it's at historical lows doesn't mean it can't go lower. Just because it's making a double bottom doesn't mean it is a bottom. This could be the consolidation. And so I'm going to wait for most of these coins until they are up above these levels, and then I'll get into them and out of them as that spreadsheet tells us. Brand new coin, Kava, partnered with Ripple. 13 killion circulation supply. HIJK. Kava. Brand new coin. Got to zoom in. Always harder to do technical analysis on a brand new coin. It's always higher risk, of course. but they still follow along with the same rules, the same patterns. And so if you are able to see a 1, 2, 3 formation in a smaller time frame and it starts to break out, you could play these rules. But as you see, it's a lot of sideways action and you would have just been frustrated or bag holding, a bit of both. And as it's doing the same thing again, you've got another chance to try it out. So for my own part, I would have been stopped out of this. And then I couldn't do anything as it was going along sideways. There's nothing for me to do until it made a consolidation and I'm watching. Oh, almost, no, nothing. Oh, maybe here for sure, there's the action point I could have taken. So then let me drag it forward. Oh, that's it. That's all we have. So then if I did take action on that, and I was fortunate enough to be watching for this exact formation, it's very familiar, right? We've got this bowl shape, we have the ascending wedge. Even though we're on the 5-minute time frame, it really works. Then you could put on a small bit of your position. Your stop is above your entry, and that's it. Hands underneath your butt. It's not your job anymore. Leave it. Let the market decide how right you are. But other than that, I can't do anything with it. I definitely want to go over to read about it, though. I like this consolidation. I like how this built up over this period of time and what it's doing out of this. That's doing pretty good. So could I jump into this? When could I jump into this? Well, I could, for sure. But you know, I'm waiting for the 1, 2, 3 now. If it comes back to the 50% level and gives me a 1, 2, 3, even if it's just a couple hours long, it's the same thing. The same principle. The difficulty with this small time frames for my own part is that I would put on too large of a trade when I'm starting off. I would put on too big of a trade. And then when it doesn't work out, the losses are too big. So on the smaller time frames, I've learned to make smaller positions and add on to them later when I'm correct to expand them. It helps reduce my errors. It helps reduce the cost of my errors when I do make the errors. And then when I add on to the winners, it helps balance it out. Boom, boom. Dogecoin, my secret Lambo coin. My secret Lambo stash. Dogecoin is going to do it 10 times. And I could be wrong, of course. But I do think that we're in for a big reset in all of the world's finances. Gold and silver are going to go up an order of magnitude. So gold will go $9,000, $8,000, which is insane. Silver will go from $15 to $17 or $20, whatever it is now, and it'll go over to $150 an ounce. Many of the cryptocurrencies will go up as well, just because they are established blockchains with a history that makes them more valuable. Look at the Facebook bought the app WhatsApp. You guys recall that? Do you remember when Facebook bought WhatsApp? They paid $9 billion for that app. I think that Dogecoin will be worth more than one of those apps in time. All of these cryptocurrencies will be worth more. And I could be wrong, but that's what I'm looking for, and I want to err on the side of being ready for it. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and I want to err on the side of being ready for it because Bitcoin went from $1 each in 2011 to, what are we at now? And Dogecoin was made on Bitcoin's technology. They can just import all of Bitcoin's good stuff into this blockchain, into the programming. It's all open source information. So nothing to do really until it breaks above these levels. And then should it do that 10 times move, it's a good idea to have a bit of it that you don't care if it's spiking and pulling back, because it will. It'll spike and pull back, spike and pull back, spike and pull back, and finally it'll do the big run up to the 300 Satoshi. And we'll try to be watching for this and monitor it day by day so that we look at all of our indicators as we're going up like this, and we are trying to identify that 1, 2, 3 top formation and the crossover. So when we get into a closer time frame, we can identify these. I definitely identified these bottoms and made some great trades on Doge at the time. They're identifiable, and this is beautiful stuff. I think 300 Satoshi, and then it'll go like to the 300 Satoshi level, and then it'll balance out. I don't think it's going to be a 300 Satoshi and all the way back to nothing. I think we're going to do a stage up, and it's going to be a whole new level. And this is a chance of a lifetime. It's a chance of a lifetime. $1,000 into this will turn into 10,000 over time. Completely crazy to even predict something like that, but we've seen it in the past. So I want to err, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't want to be fooled by these altcoins. I want to be ready for them, study them like crazy. So thank you, Oleg Goys. Dan, your name is so much easier to pronounce. Binance, Ripple, 3-month view, going down. Just crossed over the 12-hour EMA. So that would be a double exit for us. Where the 4-hour EMA already crossed over, and we already have our exit in our bull market watch spreadsheet. It already told us as we were crossing this 1, 2, 3 top formation and the 4-hour EMA crossed, we were definitely seeing the divergences set up here. And this afternoon, I'll go into more detail on this again. I'm watching for changes in the RSI here to see that what it's doing, and that it broke this line and is fading off a little bit is kind of bearish. We got the 1, 2, 3 top and easing off with Bitcoin showing strength in the background. That is one of the reasons I do this Bitcoin in the background all the time, is especially for these closer time frames, because I can start to see when the split is from one coin to the other, and you can see where the trend is starting to change right here. It is not that dramatic actually in Ripple. So let's pay attention to this. Clear this, go back to auto. I want to go over to Ethereum for this very same time frame and look at the difference in this from this moment. This made a 1, 2, 3 top. This gave us that skewer pattern, which is like a gong, something has changed. And I'm anticipating this type of action. And Ripple, I believe, is going to go along with it. Let me go to Poloniex, take a look at Ripple, and I want to look at XLM as well. Look at this taking off. That's not what I'm expecting. And so I'm very keen to go through the rest of the alts now in the bull market watch spreadsheet so that I get a snapshot of everything, and I get to start paying attention to the ones that are moving versus the ones that are not. And the ones that are not, or the ones that are moving, I need to be writing up new alerts for, so that we are tracking and monitoring everything that's going on. This is important, this little break right here. And we'll be watching this throughout the day to see what it is doing with all of the alts, because if they are breaking out right now, I really want to pay attention to what they are doing versus Bitcoin. It's okay for them to break out and for Bitcoin to break up. Those two things can go together. And Bitcoin dominance will be dropping as that happens. How are you doing, Litecoin? Consolidating as well. And it's more of a top formation. You can see this very same time frame, things started to change, and this started to fade off as Bitcoin is settling in. So I still think these are taking a hit down, even though Bitcoin dominance is just easing off this little bit here. I'm not buying it yet. I'm still maybe erring on the other side now because I've been burned before and I'm afraid to go in the kitchen, never mind just use the stove. Factum. Last time Bitcoin did a big move down, Factum had a huge trend up. And I don't get it, but it was incredibly significant, and I sold out way too early on this one. Again, I didn't follow my exponential moving averages. I thought I knew better, but now I follow them. All right, so that wraps us up here. I hope that's helpful, and I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks again for the new subscriber and any thumbs up. I appreciate them as well. I'll sign off for now, and I'll see you over on our Discord chat. Let's continue to track this over the day. Cheers. Bye for now.